This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association. Your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman and Riley Smith. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Well, good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Thursday, July 7th, 2022. We're so glad you can join us today. In today's episode of Ag Matters PM, I have a bit from my trip to the Sioux City Ronald McDonald house from last week. They're making lots of changes there, lots of great stuff going on, and it was just great to be out there. We'll also have a look at that ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Well, we're at the end of another day in the ag marketplace, and a bit of a turnaround today, a continuation from yesterday. So for a bit of analysis, we go to Matt Bennett of agmarket.net. Matt, what are we seeing in those markets right now?
Well, sometimes people call something like this a dead cat bounce. I'm not sure that it might be a little bit more than that, though. Quite frankly, the corn and bean market needed to see some light of day here lately, and it's just been a rough go. I mean, absolutely brutal. The bean market for November last Friday and this Tuesday, 2 straight sessions, we dropped $1.40 plus, and so come in today and you rally beans 42 cents, and it's certainly a beautiful thing compared to what we've seen lately. But we may have a little more work to do. I thought that the bean plummet was a little premature. We all know that the bean crop is not made in the month of July, and so corn crop though is, and we've had a fair amount of rain here lately, and so I think that it's understandable that you would see some pressure, on this corn market. But corn is able to rebound a little bit here today too. We saw 20-cent gains for a while. We closed well off the highs, but still double-digit gains.
Right, and that drop was interesting because, like you said, the crop's not made in July. Plus, we haven't even, really been through pollination yet. So, I mean, was that just kind of an overreaction in an already anxious marketplace that we saw?
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Here's the thing: this corn market, you traveled up to 750, 760 levels. Those are levels we don't see real often, and so the market was due for and ripe, absolutely ripe for a correction at some point, and then you get some rains come through. And I know a couple of times here over the weekends we had better than expected rainfall in Illinois and Iowa. You see better than expected rainfall in even portions of those 2 states, and you're just asking for trouble as far as the markets are concerned. You're right. A lot of folks, hardly anybody's gone through pollination. Right where I'm at here in central Illinois, we've been shooting tassels. Most of the corn's tasseled. Pollination is going to be in full effect here over the next several days. And so getting the rain that a lot of folks in Illinois had yesterday and today is certainly going to be welcome. But we're not totally out of the woods by any means. Once pollination's over with, we've still got grain flow to go through. So, some of these really dry forecasts, I think, kind of worked their way into the market today. The heat's not too bad, but most of your forecasts are calling for no rain over the next 2 weeks.
Right, and for those grains, I mean, are we mostly back to a weather market right now, or is there anything else kind of weighing in?
I think that's one of the main things you're going to be looking at is a weather market moving forward. I think Mother Nature this time of year typically has the most to say. So right now you would think that export market's going to be a little quiet. Brazil certainly is going to be the main game in town. They had a huge safrinha crop, certainly adequate to be able to satisfy world demand. But you get into the fall time frame, and I think you'll get into that late fall area where Brazil didn't have much corn out there to offer, and it's going to be a pretty big deal. Seeing, for instance, Ukraine not having a lot of corn out there available on the world market, I think that's going to be a big issue. And so, I think it's going to be something that we'll be able to actually count as a good thing for us. But for right now, it's going to be kind of tough to get anything other than weather really to move this market a whole lot.
All right, and what are we seeing on the other side of the marketplace in the livestock complex?
Well, livestock actually, I mean, you look at fats today and they really didn't do much. I mean, fats were basically 20 cents or less on either side of the market. Feeders were down a little bit. You've got to expect feeders would be down somewhat, although hogs performed okay. So hogs were up a little bit, feeders were down a little bit. It's not hard to fathom that you would see feeders down whenever you've got the corn market up double digits. And so I look for these cattle, actually, to be honest with you. Given the numbers that we see, given demand that we see, as long as the equity market doesn't just completely fall apart, and it seems like we've kind of tried to get some traction here lately, I feel pretty confident that you're going to see a situation where these fat cattle are going to be worth some serious money. There would be really good property on out into the fourth quarter, first quarter next year.
All right, and what about those hogs as well?
Yeah, I mean, hogs, $113 hogs on front month futures, and then you got an inverted market on out. Most of the demand's up front. I think 113 is plenty rich on hogs. I don't expect us to get back to that 120 level that we stayed at there for a while earlier in the year, but hogs have certainly been impressive, especially being able to rally on a day whenever you've got your feed stocks up. So, you know, as far as hogs are concerned, again, I don't get super friendly when you get into triple digits, and we're 113 right now. So I think we're plenty rich for the time being.
All right, lots of great information today. For those of our listeners and our watchers who would like to learn more and get in touch with the folks at agmarket.net, how can they do that?
Just that, agmarket.net or agmarket.app. Either way will direct you to our research, ways to get a hold of us, and just kind of looking at some of the technology we offer.
All right, Matt, it was great talking with you today, and we look forward to hearing from you again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
That again was Matt Bennett of agmarket.net. We'll go ahead and take a look at those closing numbers. That's courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. At the close, September corn is up 9 1/4 at 609 even. December corn up 11 1/4 at 596 1/4. August soybeans up 38 3/4 at 1485 1/4. November soybeans up 42 3/4 at 1365 1/2. August soybean meal up 790 at 423.50. Soybean oil up 306 at 61.62. September Chicago wheat is up 32 even at 836 1/2. Minneapolis spring wheat up 48 1/4 at 934 1/2. Kansas City hard red wheat up 41 3/4 at 891 even. And September oats up 4 even at 466 1/4. On the Merc, August live cattle up a nickel at 134.55. August feeders down 82 cents at 172.47. Lean hogs are up a dime at 113.25. Pork cutout up 7 cents at 113.22, and Class 3 milk up 31 cents at 22.70. And that's been a check of the Ag Market Recap here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I'll have a bit from my trip to the Sioux City Ronald McDonald House. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Well, like I said earlier, I took a trip out to the Sioux City Ronald McDonald House last week to just check things out and get a little bit of an update on the Governor's Charity Steer Show as well and their involvement with it. I talked with Christy Clark. She's the executive director of the Sioux City Ronald McDonald House. And we just talked about some of the updates they've seen this year and what they look for in the future.
So our building was built back in 1994 with 6 bedrooms in it to serve the Sioux City and Siouxland community. And it served its purpose for so many years in a great way. But we realized in the last few years that what we were really missing was a lot of accessibility for our families that we serve. We have a high percentage of NICU families that are with us, and many of those moms have either had C-sections or traumatic births. Their bodies have been through a lot. And going up and down stairs is not always easy for them. We had one room on our main floor, but 5 upstairs, and the stairs, like I said, were difficult. So we were able to receive some grant money and also generous donations from the community so that we could renovate our main floor, make it more accessible to all people, whether they're in a wheelchair or have another disability, or even just the moms who are struggling with the ability to go up and down stairs. And then we also added one more room on our main floor, another guest room for families. So we now have twice the ability to serve families who can not use the stairs on our main floor, which is a great thing, and we're very excited to be able to showcase this soon to the community. We're right at the end stage of all of those renovations.
Right, and it's such a great facility to have, and you help so many people with it. I mean, how often is this building, full and just helping these kids get better?
Yeah, more and more we see families coming through and staying, sometimes for shorter periods of time, sometimes for longer periods of time. About 10 days is the average amount of time that a family would be with us. And a lot of times that is because that baby was born just a little early. Our favorites are when there are some siblings too, and they bring so much joy and love to the house. And we're excited that we have some new ways to keep them occupied and busy, to entertain them so that it's also a fun experience and not just that mom and dad were so focused on the baby that's in the hospital or the sibling that's in the hospital. So we renovated our family room area. It used to be, plush white carpet and fancy furniture and a gas fireplace, and was not very family friendly for little kids. So we were able to, with this renovation, change that space up. And a lot of that was because of the Iowa Cattlemen's Association, the Iowa beef industry, the Iowa Cattlemen's Foundation as well, generously donating money from the Governor's Charity Steer Show to go towards that room. So now that room is going to be wood floors that are easily cleanable, space for toys and books. We even found some cute little cow chairs, and we're going to have a magnetic farm scene wall soon in there as well. So a fun place for kids to play. Of course, we kept that great Iowa farm feel to the room because we want everyone to remember where that generous donation came from to make it all possible. Farming community, the Iowa Cattlemen's Association, the Governor's Charity Steer Show, Ronald McDonald houses, we all have one thing in common, and that's family. We all focus on family, and so we were excited that they were willing to put the money towards that room, and we know that it's going to be a place where families really come together.
So, yeah, I mean, what a great example of the agriculture community just as a whole. We just got through a pandemic. Yep. We got through all of these hard times together, and it's because, like you said, of family. And, of course, helping families here, Cattlemen's providing, the funds for that, showing that they care for families too.
They do. And, I think that's really the thing is throughout the Governor's Charity Steer Show, it's been 40 years, but nothing has stopped the show from happening. Not a pandemic, not a derecho, not anything could stop the show from happening. And every year we've seen more and more funds coming back from the farming community, the ag community, to help the Ronald McDonald houses, to pool everybody together and just show that support. We have a lot of that farm community that's served here in this house. The people who stay here are often from 45 minutes, hour and a half or more away, and a lot of them are from the ag community. So having a place to stay and really supporting their own is a great way to do that. So we're excited about that and about this place that we're able to call a family room, the Iowa Cattlemen Care Family Room. What a better name for something, because we know how much the cattlemen care about Iowa and families.
Right, and so important too. We're standing right in front of the playground right now, and there's so many renovations going on to make it a more fun place to live as well. Of course, you think the Ronald McDonald house and having these kids here, it's important that not only do they feel like they're getting better here, but they feel like it's home and they're having a great time.
Yeah, and that is the thing that we hear from families more and more, is that it felt so comfortable. It felt like home, but also the staff, the volunteers, everybody here was so supportive that they just felt comforted. And that's what we're going for, is that comfort feeling, because we know when families are away from home, when they're going through these traumatic situations and difficult situations, they just need to feel like they're surrounded and they're supported through it. And so that's what we're able to do with our resources here. And in addition to the house, we've also been able to start our family lunch program that started in 2018 and continues to grow and build from there. So every day we're able to serve families a great sack lunch up at the hospital, right bedside, by their baby, by their child, so they don't have to go anywhere and that food comes right to them. It saves them money and it gives them more time with that child during the day in the hospital, and they're still able to come back here at night and rest and get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, let's shout out the staff that you have here. Of course, and I get right in the building and I see they're making a bunch of meals in the kitchen, going through that, and they wanted to make sure the dishes were clean before we got through there. I mean, such a great staff, and it looks like, not the biggest team after all, but such incredibly hard workers.
We have a small but mighty and very, very kind and wonderful staff. We're very fortunate here, and I think that's part of it is you have to have that heart for giving and that heart for helping, and our staff really does, and their whole goal is just to make sure that this house is warm and comforting and that they have everything that they need. I mean, you walked in right away and smelled the food cooking in the kitchen, and that's what we love is when we can welcome people with a great smell from the kitchen. We love to make some chocolate chip cookies because who doesn't love that? And just some little things that just make it better than it could be if you were just sleeping next to the child in the hospital or if you had to stay at a hotel. We don't want any of that. We want families to save their money because they don't have a lot of money at that time. We want them to feel comforted, and we want them to remember to take care of themselves because it's very easy to forget yourself in that focus that you have on your child who's sick and needs constant attention. So we want to make sure they take care of themselves too.
Absolutely. And oh man, I just lost what my question was, but I had a good one.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. What was it? Oh, yeah. So we're in the 40th year of the Governor's Charity Steer Show. A lot of tradition there going on. It's been going on for such a long time, started by Governor Branstad. And of course, a lot of people think of it being around forever and, the buildings being around forever. And obviously, this is a new building. Yeah. And wouldn't you say that this kind of shows that even though it's been around for 40 years, it's been a collaborative effort that's largely been the same, there's still lots of change going to just in a better direction?
Yeah, and the Steer Show has changed over 40 years and grown. We have all changed over 40 years and grown, and I think that just shows the commitment and how working together and being such a good collaboration has really increased what we're able to offer families. We're able to change and move with the medical needs that families have, and I really think that because we've all continued to grow together and everyone has focused in on what's important, and that's family and the mission of helping families, things have just really kind of blossomed from there. It's amazing to think of 40 years. It's unbelievable to think of the impact the Iowa Governor's Charity Steer Show has had in 40 years on all of the Ronald McDonald houses, but really hundreds of thousands of families that have been served by the Ronald McDonald houses in Iowa. I don't know any other collaboration and partnership like it. And I think that speaks amazingly about Iowa Nice and Iowa families together and how we pitch in and support each other and help each other out. And it's just so indicative of the state of Iowa and what we do for others.
Right, a 40-year commitment of working together, helping families, and just making Iowa a better place. And you couldn't ask for a better way to do it. Better supporters for the cattlemen, the beef industry across the state. Those kids that show, let's talk about that. How professional of a showman can you get out of a 15-year-old?
They're amazing. I'm floored every single year at the professionalism of those young men and women who come in with their steers, the work that they have put in, the just commitment to making that animal the best that it can be, and to learning their profession, to learning about that animal and what they need to do to show and to make it to that level is amazing. Their willingness to work with a celebrity they may not know, but still hand over their animal to walk in the ring with them, I think is incredible. They should just be so proud, and we're so proud of them and their givingness, their generosity back to helping out like this. This is a lot to give up that animal that they've become so attached to and to make it to this level and do this. So we're very grateful for them.
Right. Just a great feel-good story all around. Mm-hmm. People getting together to give back to the community, and then oftentimes you see those community members who received help from here, they turn around and give right back. And what a great cycle to have. It's
amazing to see, and that's a lot of times what we see at these shows is those who've been helped by the house pitch back in again. Their companies and their businesses that they work for pitch back in again, and everybody wants to make sure that this event becomes the success that it can be, so that the Ronald McDonald houses can be successful into the future. And that's just, I don't know, it's amazing to see. It warms my heart every year. It's just unbelievable to see all the people coming together and that they have this centered focus on helping others the entire time.
Right. Well, it was great to visit the Sioux City Ronald McDonald House today to see just the progress going on here and how the continued effort is to give back to these families. So thanks for having us out here, and good luck with you guys finishing up these renovations to the building and as you continue to give back.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming out. We'd love to have you come out when we're all finished, and we invite everyone to stop by and just check out the new facility if they're in the area.
That again was Christy Clark, the Executive Director of the Sioux City Ronald McDonald House. As for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at that ag weather outlook. Well, it was pretty foggy this morning, but then those conditions cleared off and it just stayed mostly overcast for the rest of the day. Of course, we do have a chance for some lingering thunderstorms across the state tonight, so let's go ahead and take a look at what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. As you can see here from the National Weather Service, those storms will continue. Today we've got variably to mostly cloudy skies, with thunderstorms more likely in the central and eastern parts of Iowa. Highs should range from the low to mid-80s. Tonight should be mostly cloudy with a chance for thunderstorms, the lows overnight ranging from the upper 60s to lower 70s. And tomorrow there's a chance of thunderstorms in the eastern two-thirds of the state. Highs should range from the low to mid-80s. Taking a look at the affiliate weather map, as you can see for tomorrow, Cherokee will be partly sunny with some storms and a high of 82. Shenandoah partly sunny and storms as well with a high of 85. Des Moines looking to be mostly cloudy and stormy with a high of 84. Waterloo also with that mostly cloudy conditions and chance for storms and a high of 81. Albia much of the same, mostly cloudy, storms, high of 82. And Clinton, big surprise, once again mostly cloudy with storms and a high of 81. For more detailed forecasts in your part of the state, make sure to check in with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook, and that also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content at iowaagnet.com. You can also find us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And you can find the previous episodes of AMPM as well as our other video content on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button to see when those go live. Don't forget our free Twice Daily Market podcast on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Avery Haskell and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.